Are we coming on after this?
Yes. But we need to
Right.
bring Cal around here.
So can I do impersonate? Can I get you to
Of course.
impersonate?
Let's go.
Oh, I'm excited. And I'm going to ask you who you like as well. So,
Do you want to start or shall I?
no, we'll start with an impersonation.
Do you want to just come in with an impersonation?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Shall I?
Just give me the thumbs up.
Yeah. Just
And then
come in with something.
Yeah.
Well, you just come straight on.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is you've got 8, we're thinking down.
Here we go. You're listening to 106.6 FM. It's Koast, the greatest radio station. Believe me, it's the greatest. Totally great. The greatest station. It's so great. You can give us a text or a WhatsApp on 07858 429 316. It's the greatest number to WhatsApp on, believe me. It's so great. Direct line to the White House. The greatest. So great. It's the Donald. Live on the radio.
I have to give you a round of applause. So our cue to Cal was just come in and hit us with a whatever. Just do it. So impersonations, that's a lovely lead into a conversation about impersonations, which is one of the things that you're well known for.
Yeah.
So you have been live on television. Tell us more.
Yes, I did Britain's Got Talent back in 2016 as one half of the Mimic Men with my good pal Alfie Joy, who's a fantastic human being.
Love that man.
Oh, he's great, isn't he?
Yeah.
Who's a fantastic artist as well. Absolutely incredible artist.
Yes, I've seen his new sort of ventures in art, and he's absolutely prolific, isn't he?
Oh, he's great. I can't draw for toffee.
Yeah.
I can't draw. Now, I've spoken to a few other impressionists, Alfie being one, Rory Bremner being another.
Yes.
And they've said that often people who do impressions are either musical or very arty. I'm neither. So I don't know whether that means I'm not very good.
It just means you've not unleashed your other creative superpower.
I know. I've always wanted... If you could play an instrument, what would it be?
Spoons.
I should have asked, can you play an instrument? That's the big thing. Spoons.
Tambourine.
I'm the basic version of guitar, but it's like
Right.
real basic. No, it's
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, very basic. Just a few chords.
I've always wanted to learn to play the banjo. Always wanted to play the banjo.
Yeah.
But apparently it's ludicrously difficult.
Is it
It's
really?
really, really difficult. Yeah, because it's so many different strings and stuff like that. It's far more difficult than a guitar, apparently. And they say the way to do it is go from ukulele to banjolele, which is the one in the middle, and then to banjo. And I've bought a ukulele and I've bought a banjolele. Haven't learned either of them.
Yeah. Well, this is a yet. Just chuck yet on at the end, and it's a work in progress.
They're sat in a box somewhere. My partner's going, when are you going to get rid of them?
So, Cal, when you come back on next time,
have to bring me banjolele.
And your banjolele and everything, and I'll bring the spoons.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you bring your guitar.
We could, we
Well,
could
let's
get
get
a
the
new
band
jingle.
together.
Was it now? Help me out on this one. I believe it was Taylor Swift who wrote her songs on a ukulele.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Probably.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Probably. Because
When she was
ukulele's
young,
only
yeah.
four strings. It's
At the
supposed to
very,
be...
very early stages of her career.
Yeah. The ukulele's supposed to be like the easiest instrument to play. Like,
I
it's
see.
supposed to be the one that you can pick up and learn in a day.
Uh-huh.
But I've got so much going around in my head. I can't, and I say I can't. I would if I put the effort in.
Yeah.
I would be able to find some times to learn it, but I can't. I think it's because Billy Connolly plays the banjo. I've always wanted to be like the big one, the greatest comedian that plays the banjo. I think it's great. Wonderful times,
Who is your favourite person to impersonate? Do you have a favourite?
Do you know, it floats from time to time. I never quite know who I want to do, so I do like doing Donald. I think the Donald's very popular at the moment. Well, not very popular, but popular to impersonate. The Billy's great as well. I quite like a bit of Michael McIntyre as well. I like Michael. But one of my favourites isn't hugely popular for audiences, but I like to do a little bit of Louis Theroux. I think what I like to do about Louis is I like to say things that seem quite interesting, but actually you've said nothing, and people go, oh, that's quite intriguing what you have to say, you know. But it's, you just go, how does he do it? You know, it's, where's that voice coming? I quite like Sir David Attenborough as well. Who doesn't like Sir David Attenborough? And on the left, you have the shark. You know, it's a beautiful voice, Sir David's.
It's very unique, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have you thought about Peston?
About what?
The guy, man. I don't know what his first name is. Is it
Joe Pesci?
No. He's
Pesci? No.
Peston. It sounds like Preston, but it's not. It's Peston, and he's on the news, and he often follows the ITV news.
Oh no!
Oh, watch him! He's brilliant, and he slows down. Then he speeds up again. Then he slows down when he's singing. He's a great. He would be fabulous.
Because I have that with. I noticed that with Jeremy Vine. When Jeremy Vine's talking live on the radio, he will talk very quickly, and then he'll slow it back down. It's like a record that's on a dodgy wheel, and he will see what's happening. You know, it's got this kind of, it's like, do you know when you used to have one of those games as a kid where you put a marble on it and it just goes up and down?
Yes.
That's how he talks all the way through things.
Because, I mean, there's so much to, obviously you've got loads of impersonations and they're absolutely hilarious, but you have a really strong voice. Obviously you do voiceovers and lots of things, but have you always, it sounds like a really silly question, have you always had this voice? But have you have you trained? Is there something?
No.
Are there techniques? What is it that you do that allows you to have this really powerful voice?
I haven't trained ever. I think I've just always done voices. I've just always really enjoyed them. So, like, one of my first impressions was the then Prime Minister Tony Blair. You know, say like, and Tony spoke in quite a distinct way. You know, but you just. You make recipes of voices.
Yes.
That's what you kind of do. You go, okay, where's the accent from? That's where that's from. Most Americans that are famous come from the base presenter of America, which is that looking out on that Golden Gate Bridge on another sunny Saturday morning. That's the standard voice of bass of wherever you want to get to, really, on anybody. So if you were going to do the Donald, you start with that voice, and then you remember that the Donald is from New York. So the easiest New York accent to do is a Joe Pesci, bada boom, bada bing. You know, you want to buy a hot dog? So you stay with that voice and you add in a little bit of Joe Pesci, you get the Donald. So it's like all voices mixing together.
Wow. Incredible.
There are so many. So like, you know, like a David Beckham at the end of the day, you put that up a little bit high, you get Joe Pasquale. You know, all the voices are so close together. So many voices are the same.
Oh, I'm blown away.
But also there are voices that you wouldn't think in like a million years it would be close together. But someone like Chris Tarrant is really close to Barack Obama, and people can't work it out. So, you know, Chris Tarrant is at the back of his voice here, and then if you just deepen the voice and slow it down, you turn into Barack Obama. You know, they're at the same part of your mouth. That's where it is. So you kind of tighten your voice. And a lot of it is where you place your tongue in your mouth as well. So if I was doing a John Bishop, you kind of swell your tongue up. And you know, you put a Scouse accent on. But it's about the big tongue, you know. It's at the end of the day. They do that though, don't they? You know, that's how John Bishop talks, you know, because the tongue's too big for his mouth, you know. So you pick up on certain things that people say. And if anybody comes to see me live, if you hear me doing an impression and I'm repeating a word over and over again, it's a brand new impression, because it's a way to put me back in. That's how I remember and get me back on track, so the voice doesn't disappear.
Amazing.
Can I ask, so when you were young at school, did you used to take off any of the teachers?
Yeah, I did. Mr. Faulkner, our geography teacher.
Right.
That's
I just want, because like my brain's saying, you probably started this at school, didn't you?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Mr. Faulkner, our geography teacher. That's what it was. I remember one particular time. Mr. Faulkner didn't turn up to teach the lesson. He clearly just forgot. You know,
he just forgot. Yeah,
he was
back in the day, you know.
Yeah, he was a lovely, lovely man, but he was clearly one of those teachers that was riding his time out until retirement.
Yeah.
You know, and you go, you've got about 2 years left, sir, and you're just here until you can put your feet up. That's it.
Yeah.
And he just forgot. And also, it was it was a lesson after a break or after lunch, so clearly he thought he had a free period and just forgot. So he sat there, but we could see like teachers poking their head through to see if he and we were like, we're going to get caught here. So we planned it when we heard the door go, as if like a teacher was coming. We held the door shut, and I just pretended to do his voice. So then you could see the teacher walk up, listen, and just walk off. So she thought the teacher was
I
still
feel
there.
like you had his back.
Oh yeah, I had
you
his
had
back.
his back.
Had
It's
his
like, we're going
back.
to look after this
It was
guy.
more a case of I couldn't be bothered to colour in another map. That's all it was.
Oh, that's fantastic. Wow, right, what can we ask next?
Well, I know.
What do you want to ask?
I've been dying to ask this all night.
Yeah.
Who is your favourite comedian, or what or how many, like, where were you influenced from? What was your first sort of, like, I seen somebody and he, like, for me it was Tommy Cooper, for sure. I mean, he is just, more recently it's Milton Jones. He's just like,
Milton's got a funny way of talking, isn't he? It's got late in the day. That's Milton, isn't it? He's very odd. Milton Jones.
Very odd.
But yeah, Billy Connolly for me.
Yeah.
It's got to be the big yin. He's the greatest stand-up I've ever seen. I saw him live in Llandudno a few years ago. Me and my very best friend, we drove over and we saw him in Llandudno, and he went on at 8:15. There was no support act, no interval. He didn't come off until 11:15.
Wow.
And he got a standing ovation. There wasn't a single moment where I was looking at my watch thinking, "God, I really need a wee. I really need a wee." None of that. Just total escapism.
Amazing.
watching
and a
Billy.
lovely storyteller. So good. A lot of other really good comedians do this too. But I think for me, Billy was the first I remember, which is just lovely observations of life as it is that everyone can relate to.
Yeah, I think it's because Billy's he's a people person. Is it? Look, I'm even calling him Billy. I've never met him. Do you know?
By the way, I have.
Have you?
I just want you to know that. So
Where?
very quickly, because it's not about me. When I was a teenager, one of my friends was Billy Connolly's niece.
Wow.
And so I was at her house one day and he was visiting. So he'd come up from London. He was with Pamela,
my wife, Pamela Stevenson.
Pamela. And they had a wee, they've got, I don't know, they've maybe got 3 daughters now, but Daisy, a little girl called Daisy, was a baby. And so I was holding her in my arms, and then she sort of wobbled a bit, and I said, "Oops, a daisy," and then I was really embarrassed because I was only 15.
Yeah.
And so I was a bit starstruck, and I didn't really know what to say.
Yeah.
Whereas now I'd be like, "Sit down, big man, we need to talk." There's so much to talk about. But that shirt, big stripy, it was like a leopard print shirt that you wore to the Albert Hall. We used to wear that to school discos.
Really?
Yeah, we would take turns of changing in the toilet, take our turn. We were like,
that's
so
awesome.
that's my claim to fame, obviously. But
That's
but
awesome.
What if you were with Billy Connolly? We had him here right now. What would you want to ask him?
First, I'd ask if he wants a cup of tea, because I know he's a big fan of a cup of tea.
Likes a cup of tea.
Loves it. Do you know what I love about Billy is he is obsessed with meeting people.
Yes.
He doesn't care about, maybe he does, but he never portrays this. He doesn't care about fame. He doesn't care about fortune. He's not interested in his profile. He just wants to tell you a story.
Yeah.
And I don't think, I would probably just ask Billy, "How was your day?" And that would be him for about 4 hours going, "Let me tell you what I was doing," and it would just go on forever, But the big yin, Billy's definitely up there. I'm a big fan of American stand-ups as well. Really like Jerry Seinfeld. Really
Yes,
like
so do
him.
I.
And do you know, Jerry Seinfeld said a joke, which I think is massive. The massively, it's not hugely funny, but it's very, very important in life, right? And in AA that we were talking about before, they have this big thing that they use the word God quite a lot, but it's just for choice of a better word. It's your higher power. You hand all your stuff over
God,
to something
dog,
else,
same
whatever
thing.
it may be. Yes, well, my higher power is dogs. Mine is dogs.
course.
Yes, you'll find out. Calcoholic on YouTube, you'll find out. But there's a joke that said that there was a vicar working on the church garden. Absolutely beautiful garden. And this vicar's working really hard, sweating. And this bloke walks past and looks at the vicar, looks at the garden and goes, "Wow, some of God's finest work right there." And the vicar looks up and says, "Well, you should have seen it when he was in charge." And it's a very funny joke, but it's also massively important that you can relate it to your real life, in that, yes, you can hand over whatever problems you may have in the world and whatever it may be, and any obstacle, you go, "Well, what will happen will happen.
Yeah.
But it's also how you react to what will happen.
Yes.
You can't just ferry on through life going, well, this is what's going to happen. You
Yeah.
go, no, it's how you react to it. That's the big
absolutely is.
thing. And so Jerry Seinfeld, big fan. The Billy, a big fan of Ray Romano as well. From
Yes.
Everybody Loves Raymond. Hey,
That's
Ma.
great.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
good, isn't it?
And any comedian I can impersonate, I like. Really.
I like it if I can see them, absolutely. Do you know how many impersonations you have? Like,
Oh, I have no idea.
you don't know.
Absolutely, I'll have to sit down and write them out. Robin
So-
Williams as well, big fan of Robin Williams.
Come on,
Incredible.
hello Robin. We've got Robin in the
Oh,
house.
it's me, Robin Williams. Oh, isn't it great to be here? Oh, and you Virginia don't fair, dear. I'm a hip hop granny that can hip hop, bip bop, dance to your drop. You make a wicked cup of cocoa.
I think that's been my favourite, actually. If I'm being honest, you did that so well. You did that so
Many people.
well.
I don't think when you do Mrs. Doubtfire, I've never met anybody that's gonna hate that film.
Yeah.
Everybody adores Mrs. Doubtfire.
It's-
It's a help is on the way, dear. Help is on the way. I think it's my favourite film, Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah.
It's definitely up there. I don't know what would come close
Do you know,
to
I've
it.
forgotten all about that movie.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of old movies you go, yeah, that was just for then. But there's a few you're like, oh, I'm going to have to watch that again.
All-time classic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
All-time.
going to have to watch that again. That's it.
Do you know that's one of my I say therapy things. If ever I'm feeling miserable, I watch Mrs. Doubtfire and it cheers me up every
It's a
single
real
time.
pick-me-up.
Yeah, and also a lot of Elvis Presley. I listen to a lot of Elvis. Big Elvis fan.
Nice. Favourite?
Off the top of my head, Burning Love. That's my favourite
A
song
hug,
of all
a
time.
hug, a
Yeah,
burn
love Burning Love.
A hug, a hug.
I would like that as my funeral song because I want to be cremated and I hope it'll make people laugh. That's I really like that. But I'm also a huge fan. Another one of my favourites is Never Been to Spain by Elvis Presley, where it's like, well, I've never been to Spain, but I kind of like the music. Love that song. I think it's
gonna have
absolutely
to
beautiful.
See,
See
we've
if
got
we
that.
can
This
find
is-
that.
when you're driving home tonight, we're going to get some of your tunes. We're going to have a bit of Cal's best tunes coming up. So, yeah, tell me what's next, because I need to ask you, your big show is starting.
Rotten Fruit.
Your Rotten Fruit. Tell us more about it and tell us when.
Yeah, so Rotten Fruit is my new work in progress show. It will be the show that I take to the Edinburgh Festival very, very soon.
Amazing.
This is the very first outing of it. It is this Friday, Valentine's Day. And because I couldn't think of any better treat or gift to my partner than giving him peace and quiet. So me going out, that is what he wanted.
A romantic night for one.
Yes, exactly.
Perfect.
He'll be very happy with that I
Yeah.
leave him alone.
Yeah,
He'll go, peace
perfect.
and quiet, please. Great, no
Yeah.
problem.
Thank you.
So it is at the Chillingham in Heaton. Doors are 8 o'clock. Show will be 8:30 with the support act of John Scott, who's a very, very funny comedian. And then it'll be my hour show. And Rotten Fruit is a show all about how I'm not a very good stereotypical gay man. That's what the show is all about. So it is about me liking football, not fashion. Liking Chris Kamara, not Lorraine Kelly. You know, it's that's what it's about. That's what the show is all about. How the stereotypes don't really come near me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not really interested in that. And also some of the challenges that you have in a same-sex relationship. That's what you have, and how they are absolutely identical to every other relationship, but somehow worse.
I can't wait. And there's still tickets left?
There are still tickets left,
And
yes.
how can people get hold of them?
Just go to calscomedyclub.com. It will have all the ticket details, and also it will have all the other shows that are available at the Chillingham as well.
Amazing. Well, I've seen you. We've had you in the house. I've seen you live on stage, and I highly recommend. And I'll definitely be back to see you again. And we'll
bless you.
find our way to bring you back to Koast. Will you do a jingle for us sometime before?
Yeah,
Of course
for
I
sure.
will.
We need jingles.
We need a jingle from
Yeah.
Cal Halbert.
Especially when we move on to DAB.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Whoa.
Watch this space.
So we'll play a
Cal?
couple of tunes and then come back?
Yes. Let's do that.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
So coming up next is we've got a couple of short adverts coming up, and then we will have Bryan Adams' The Summer of '69, followed by Roxy Music Over You, and we're going to find some Elvis.
A hugger, hunger. Oh, that's class.
It's good fun.
Oh, God bless you. You're drinking
John,
cold.
I think it's called John Peston.
Right.
You've got to watch him, and you've got to get his his voice because he's
John Peston.
John Peston is on ITV, yeah.
Does he do news?
He does he's often either on he's a reporter, and then he's got his own. I tell you when he's always on. You know when the elections are on.
Yeah.
And he's got black hair, glasses, and he's always doing the ITV.
Okay.
And he talks and he goes, man, I was thinking, I'm gonna do that. And he goes like this. When he's thinking, it goes really slow when he's thinking. Then when he knows what he's going to say, he just starts going, and now I know what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
But
it's funny, isn't it? Like Matthew Raisbeck, the Newcastle United football commentator, you can tell when he's tired because he talks so slowly.
Oh, really?
And you're listening to it, and Alfie pointed it out to me because he knows Razor well. He said he talks so slowly when he's tired. Like even just in normal conversation,
And it makes sense, doesn't it?
he'll just be doing this. Yeah, it's crazy.
This is great, by the way. Thanks for giving up your time.
Hang on. That's
My pleasure.